What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? We'll give it a few more minutes. Don't expect a large crowd. It's still a growing channel, right? But it's okay. We're gonna go and we're gonna hit it hard, and you can always come back and watch it, right? We'll give it a minute or so. We'll give it a minute or so. Do me a favor, hit that light coming through the door. We're gonna get started here shortly. Not really worried about the crowd. It's the first live stream. We're gonna hit it hard, and you can always play it back, right? But we're gonna go ahead and get started. In a minute. I'm not sure how YouTube is getting my link out there, or I'm not sure if they're suggesting this video or whatever, but it don't matter, man. We're fans of the sport. We just love talk boxing. That's what we want to do. We just want to talk boxing. All right, so let's go. What up? What up? Fans of the fucking sport, what up? It's Leatherneck with Selah Sports TV, coming at you with our first live stream for the channel. I'm pretty excited. It's the first of many. The channel will be growing. The channel's growing, right? I'm not really concerned with, like I said, how many people are here right now. You can always play it back, so nobody's gonna miss anything. But we do have a nice conversation lined up for the night. We're gonna have some fun, right? We're here to talk about the huge mega fight, Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. I've been making quite a few videos about it last few days, and this is a fun fight for true boxing fans, right? Those who aren't new to this channel, if you've been here, you know that this is a level-headed channel. Like, we don't really do the fanboy shit, right? We don't really do the fanboy stuff. I'm trying to watch my language on this. Right? I know how YouTube feels about, live streams and the language and everything, but work in progress. Pray for me, right? But mainly, I just want to say thank you for you guys for being here. It's a million channels on YouTube, but you're here, and I appreciate that. So we're going to keep it live and go ahead and get started. Do me a favor, if you haven't done it already, go ahead and bang that like button. Whether you're watching it live or when you come back and watch the replay, just go ahead and the best way to support this channel is by hitting that like button, right? Another way that you can support the channel is by sharing it to your social media. Get some people in here. I feel like the boxing space, especially on YouTube, could use more channels like this. There's a few others, because I those are the channels that I watch. But what I mean is channels where we don't look at this as like football, right? Boxing ain't football. This ain't a rah rah. I'm gonna support my team and bash yours. These guys are going in there putting their lives on the line. So let's just support this sport in a healthy way. You don't play boxing. You box. You don't play it. Also, what I would like you to do is in the comment section, go ahead and drop what city you're watching from, right? Whatever city you're watching from, go ahead and drop that in the comment section, so I can know who we're talking to, right? So let's get started. Let me go ahead and get this link out there. 1 second. Is there any Texans in here? Any Texas and any guys from Texas? Ain't nobody from Texas in here, mine. Man, y'all Texas cats, y'all a different breed, especially when it comes to Errol Spence. I'll give you this. Y'all are very supportive of this guy, man. You know, y'all are very supportive of your fighter, and I guess that's respectable until you start stopping other fighters from. Let me go ahead and send that to him. Until you start blocking fighters from getting in the ring with Errol Spence. Once you start doing that, that ain't cool. Right? To me, that ain't cool. So Bradio is he's on standby. He just hit me, so he's waiting, he's chomping at the bit to get in here and start talking. But I'm gonna go ahead and warm it up real quick. But yeah, man, you Texas cats, man, y'all wow. Like, y'all realize this ain't the Dallas Cowboys, right? Like, you don't have to do that. This is not the Dallas Cowboys, right? Anyway. Real quick, before I bring the Italian Stallion in here, I'm gonna just go ahead and say this. As fans of the sport, if you're a fan of the sport of boxing, you want to go ahead and buy this fight, okay? Purchase this fight. I've seen this so many ways of buying it. I believe you can buy it on yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Boxing. Bradio, the Italian Stallion. What up?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good. It's good to have you here, man. I was just telling them, just getting it warmed up for you real quick. But I was just telling the people, I know we're still waiting for guys to come in here, but don't worry about the crowd, man, because they're going to be able to come back and watch the replay, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sure. But we want people to buy this fight. You know, it's a huge thing in boxing. We got guys streaming fights illegally and shit. Like, I don't care about the legal portion of it, but we want to support these fighters, right? They putting their lives on the line, and like, if you're a fan of the sport, we want to support that.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely want to spend that money on something. Like, I always have too, man. People have always brought that. Not you say that, they're always like, "Oh man, I got this app. I'll hook this thing up." I was like, man, I don't want to be halfway through a fight and sit here and have to worry about something to begin with.
Exactly.
I don't want to see no dude up in there. You know, there's all this crazy stuff going on. So I always like that, man. Look, I mean, if you can't afford $79.99 or whatever it is, you got kind of you got
split it with your mans or something. Yeah, split it with dude, come on, man. For sure. But let me just introduce the people to you first and foremost. They know who I am, kind of, Right. But this guy here, we go back to the Marine Corps. This is over 23, 24 years, man.
That's crazy.
That sounds crazy, right?
That's
wild.
It's coming close to 30.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And we can't get into all the stories, man. You know, we got some wild, like, this guy's the real deal, you know. Yeah. Big fan of the sport, but also he's a fighting man too. Like, and if you run up, there's 9 times out of 10 you probably gonna get choked out, right? So that's just a little bit about.
I've got a few medals on the wall.
There you go. You see that? So mess around. Go ahead, mess around, right? But let's get into it, man.
All right.
Brad. So what do you think about this fight? Like, as far as magnitude and scale, where does it rank?
I'm excited for this
fights.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. This is definitely this is more up the lines of what Pacquiao Mayweather should have been.
Yeah,
right? Because they I heard someone talking about this other day. They're not too late. I don't think either one has really lost a step. I don't think either one is really out of their prime. So, we could say it's a year or two late, but it's not too late. It ain't 5 years too late. It ain't 7 years too late. It ain't trying, it ain't even fights we see where one guy's over the hill and the other one, is coming up. Like,
Right.
Canelo Mayweather fought. You could have arguments of what side who was on. You could have made the argument Mayweather was too old, Canelo was too young. But at the end of the day, I think that's pretty much what it should have been anyways.
Right.
Probably wins at any time at that size. You've got different fights that happen like that, but they're both guys that are pretty young. I got box recs pulled up to see if they're exact. Yeah, Bud's 35. Spence is what? Spence is
like 33, right?
Yeah. I mean, so you can make the argument with some people. 35 is testing the limits, but to me, when I look at that, it really depends, man, on how you live in your life. And I think those guys live fairly clean. And nowadays, I mean, shit, Tom Brady was 42 with balls. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these guys.
There you go.
It's a different breed. This ain't 1930.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where people work, part-time jobs outside of their professional career and stuff. Like, these guys are dedicated. So I don't I think the time is right. Therefore, this should be a legendary matchup, that you look back at 20, 30 years. Like,
absolutely.
This is at the right time. This is probably the fight I'm most excited for in many years. Yeah,
definitely. I'm glad you mentioned Mayweather and Pacquiao, because that was my next question. I was going to ask you, like, where does this, like, for me, I put this over Mayweather and Pacquiao. That fight was that was too late. I almost let one slip. But that fight was way too late. We were asking for that fight, like 5 years before it happened. In regards to this fight, you could argue that it's maybe a couple years late, right? But that's when we got to think, what was happening a couple years ago?
Right.
It wouldn't have been a crowd, right? Everything was locked down. Everything was right. It wouldn't have been the same. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have been right. It wouldn't have been a big fight.
Mm-hmm.
It'd have been behind closed doors, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. That's a useless fight without a crowd. That's
yeah. I mean, at the time, we didn't like it. At the time, we saw, we didn't like the fact that it was being stalled. But looking back now,
there was that period. That's right, because I went to Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders, and that was in Dallas.
Yeah. And
that was May 2021, and Dallas was like one of the first places that was like opening up.
Yep.
So I remember walking around, and finally no one had masks on. I was like, man, I can deal with Texas. Like, these clowns up north covering the whole body. Let me not go too far. That's right.
Right.
But and that was May 2021. So and a lot of the country was still shut down, and they finally had opened it up. Down in Texas. I'm gonna touch on real quick what you're saying about the Mayweather Pacquiao though.
Yeah.
History-wise, I think this will be a better fight. I don't know if it'll be bigger in the sense of their names don't carry as much weight as Mayweather Pacquiao.
Not even close.
You know what I'm saying? That's the difference.
No.
Mayweather Pacquiao, those are legendary names forever.
Yeah.
These guys kind of flew under the radar as far as getting to that A++ level, right?
Right.
As far as that, like Canelo kind of made his name there. Fury did the Fury and Wilder thing, but I mean, if I go to work tomorrow, I'm like, man, Manny Pacquiao, Mayweather, people that ain't never watched boxing know who they are. If I say Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, they got
it's hit or miss, right?
Yeah, some people, kind of heard of them. Like, we've known them for 10+ years. Like, if you're a boxing fan, you realize the top guys in the game.
Yep.
They haven't crossed over to a mainstream kind of acceptance, right? Tyson Fury kind of has, you know. You got guys like that.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started on him.
Yeah, and well, you know, with these type of guys, whether you like them, don't like, whatever, you know, you say Tyson Fury, people know.
Oh yeah, he's
right?
a name.
Even people at work are going to go, "Oh man, that crazy dude, man, he's singing after the thing. He's singing Backstreet Boys or something, man." and people clowning him, but everybody know who he is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like Wilder, people kind of know Wilder. I know you've got some opinions on Wilder, but you know what I'm saying? But at least people, oh yeah, that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, they haven't quite. I don't know that people know Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, right? Outside of boxing fans, unfortunately, to that level of crossover, right?
Yeah, I guess what I mean. I definitely don't mean financially. Like Mayweather and Pacquiao, that was that.
Yeah.
That was like what, $500 million?
Yeah,
it was like a crazy amount of money. Like no, not even close, right? Yeah. But this fight is for undisputed.
Yeah,
you know, this fight has real championship ramifications.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
you know, that was more of a novelty fight. It's like I wonder who will win. We just want to know who will win.
Yeah.
You know, there was no belts on the line. It was like neither guy was a champion.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I'm just comparing the magnitude of a fight as far as maybe popularity, where the magnitude of this fight is bigger on the boxing purists understanding it. Yeah, I mean, with that being said, I mean, Jake Paul and Nate Diaz are going to do numbers because everybody knows Jake Paul name, right?
Yep.
You know, a bunch of kids is going to watch that fight. So yeah, there's definitely a difference between popularity, household name per se, and what it means to the sport, right? This is far more important for the sport than many fights we've seen. And in some sense, you can make the argument this is bigger for the sport than Mayweather Pacquiao. That was kind of just that was more of a dream matchup at that point.
Yeah.
Right? Dream matchup is kind of what you're saying compared to those two guys were in the prime looking to say who's the best welterweight in the world.
Exactly.
You know? But if you want to speak of a dream matchup, I don't know if you want to get off. I know you kind of have a
go for it. No, go for it. What you got?
Mayweather Crawford.
Ooh. You know, I thought about that.
Yeah.
Right? And Crawford, he has moved up a few weight classes. So here's my thing with Mayweather Crawford. I don't really see Mayweather as a natural welterweight, right? I kind of see their trajectories work in opposite directions. And what do I mean by that is down at like 135, 140, Mayweather was an absolute killer.
Yeah, right.
Killer. When he moved up, you know, he fought a different way.
Yeah.
Right? Crawford is like the opposite. When he was at the lower weights,
more of a killer.
He wasn't really stopping everybody, right? But now it's like he's in his this is where he belongs, and he's stopping everybody. Right? I think if they fight at 135, I think Mayweather gets Crawford out of there. I think he stops him. I think if they fight at 140, Mayweather probably beats him. Right? If they fight at 147, I gotta go with Crawford, man. I do.
Yeah. See, I disagree. Only because, and it's kind of the same argument a lot of people make is like, well, Mayweather never been beat. How can he be beat? But we the same thing with Crawford. Crawford's never been beat. How can he be beat?
Yeah.
And they're both very intelligent. And you know, like I definitely thought about that fight. I was like, dang, that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah.
And how would Mayweather do it? But I think Mayweather would do it kind of how he did with everybody. He's just going to sit there, download, right? They both got very high IQs. Very high IQs, both of them, as far as boxing IQs. But I just think the difference, because Mayweather just as fast, time is just as good.
Oh, yeah.
It probably comes down to Mayweather's defense is so damn good.
It is.
Too. You know, make people, and you know, I ain't even the biggest Mayweather fan.
Right.
I gotta speak truthfully.
Right.
I think the defense would make a difference. He's got a good chin, and it goes to the scorecards because Mayweather ain't stopping him.
You know what I gotta. When it comes to Mayweather, you know what I gotta go back to? Like, who gave him problems? Guys like Castillo gave him problems, right? I thought Castillo beat him the first time, right? Maidana. Yeah. Maidana started throwing that overhand right. And he was tagging him. He couldn't get away from that overhand right. Like, if you had a problem with stuff like that, now, like you said, I think Mayweather is the better defensive fighter, right? By far. Like, the way he fought Canelo, that was like a masterpiece.
And that was at 147. Actually, that was at like 150. But Mayweather even gave him a little.
Yeah, 152. Yeah,
something like that. Something crazy.
Yeah.
So, and that's a big, strong, Canelo.
Yeah. And he came in. I mean, they weighed in at 152, but he came in at like 170.
Bigger, yeah. He came in big. And
I like that, man. That was excellent. Excellent question. I did think about that a few times. Yeah. I'm like, who would actually win? I'm saying Crawford, but it's hard to pick against.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know if someone could have did. The thing
it's
about
hard to pick. It's just hard to pick against Mayweather.
Oh yeah,
it's hard to pick against him.
The thing about Madonna, though, I think that was a Styles makes fight because he fought people after that who could have just been like, all right, that's what he did, right? We always see something like that. Oh, yeah, well, I'll just do that. No one else could do it, though. That just came natural to his crazy style.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can emulate that. You know what I'm saying? It's like
because he fought Amir Khan and lost. I'm like,
well, that's what's crazy. You just don't know. Shit. And I don't want to go too far off topic, but I actually thought like an Amir Khan in his prime would have been like a match for Mayweather. That would have been crazy because if Mayweather didn't have the power to stop him, when Amir was in his prime, his timing and his speed was crazy. That could have actually been something that really tested him. I always wanted to see that. Now Mayweather probably would stop him.
He would have got timed and stopped.
Yeah, probably would have. But I think Amir would have stole a bunch of rounds.
Yeah.
A bunch of rounds early.
He might have been winning the fight, but he gets too overconfident. He stayed in the pocket too long, man. He gets too overconfident, man. It's like, why'd you throw the fifth shot? Why'd you? But let's. I got another question. I got some more questions for you.
Yeah.
So we've been hearing a lot about the size factor in this fight. Talking about Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and Errol Spence is the bigger guy. I mean, you can see that, especially at the press conference. I believe Errol Spence still had some weight to lose, like when they had that press conference. So he just looked like a bigger guy, Yeah. But even on fight night, he's gonna come into the ring as the bigger guy.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that'll be something that'll cause Terence Crawford like some big problems?
I mean, my first thought is no. I don't think it's going to cause big problems. But yeah, I mean, I would think that could be one of the factors. I mean, we could say Earl's never spent. Earl's never fought nobody like Crawford, and Crawford has never fought nobody like Earl. So
yeah.
Kind of looking at that. I mean, they both fought Kell Brook, who's a bigger guy.
Yep.
So, we can kind of look at that. By the time Crawford fought him, though, it seemed like, Brook was a little bit shot by that point.
The Kell Brook thing. All right, the Kell Brook thing is tricky, man. We got to go back to that time. Now, Kell Brook, we got to remember, he just fought your boy, Triple G. Right.
Well, let's see. Well,
right before he fought Errol Spence.
Then Errol Spence, and then later on Crawford.
Yeah, but before he fought Errol Spence, he went up to 160 and got his face broke. Against Triple G. I don't know what Eddie Hearn was doing, putting him up there against Triple G. That wasn't. I don't know what that was. But he went up to 160, fought him, got broken. Had to drain back down to 147 and fought Errol Spence.
Yeah.
Right? That's what happened.
Yeah, and it was actually less than a year later too. It was
Yeah.
He fought Golovkin September 16, fight Spence May of 17. So yeah, that's kind of quick.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't fight Crawford until 2020. At that point, I don't know, if Brook was.
He was coming off like 2-3 wins in a row.
Yeah, he
when
was.
He fought Crawford.
Yeah, he's coming off wins, kind of some never heard of guys. I just don't know where he was at that point.
Right.
He, Terence Crawford just took him apart. But it's hard to say where he is. But anyway, back to the point. Yeah, he was a little bit bigger guy. Neither of them had a big problem with him.
Yeah. Another thing that I say, we got to remember Crawford. His first fight at welterweight was against Jeff Horn, a big guy.
Yeah. He was a big guy,
right? Jeff Horn. I mean, he's a rough and tumble guy, like, and Crawford was throwing him around.
Yeah. I thought Horn was going to have a much better showing in that fight.
Yeah, I did too.
Never made anything out of that fight. That was a rough one. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Horn even went up to Horn even went up to middleweight after that, basically.
Yeah,
I mean,
Horn is a big dude.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's hard to say exactly what Horn was. I guess you can question things afterwards, which we always do. He had this big win against Pacquiao, so that put him onto the scene, and then that was it. That was basically it. I mean,
I thought he beat Pacquiao too. I know a lot of people didn't like that, but I thought he won.
It
was rough.
I'm a huge Pacquiao fan.
Yeah.
And I hear a lot of people talking about it as the biggest robbery ever, this, that, and the other. Man, when I watched that, I remember watching that fight because I bet on it.
Yeah.
The whole fight, I was thinking, you better stop him, Pacquiao. You better stop him. Stop him. Like, he was giving all day long.
Right.
And Pacquiao almost stopped him. I think that's why people think he won the fight, because he had him all messed up in like the 9th round. You're like, he's going to definitely stop him. Beginning of 10th, he's just going to knock him out. And Horn stood in there. And that was a close fight. That he gave Pacquiao all he could handle that day. I think
that fight was in Australia. Maybe if that fight's not in Australia.
Yeah, it was in Australia. I mean, I don't know. It was an outdoor stadium out in the sun. I don't want to make it, but maybe he just had the best day of his life.
Yep. It happens.
But no, he gave Pacquiao hell that day. I mean, he gave everything, and maybe Pacquiao overlooked him too. There's a possibility of that, but either which way you look at it, that was his one shining moment. But he was a big rough dude, and Crawford just beat the crap out of him. He just.
So I got a little curveball for this next question, man.
Yeah.
When last time you been to the gun range?
Forever.
Man, I'm ashamed, man. It's been like a year and a half, almost 2 years. And I got like 3 gun ranges like within 5 miles of my crib.
Yeah, there's a lot of people down here in North Carolina that do that. And I meant to ask somebody. There's people all over. I mean, shoot, there's areas that here I think you can pretty much shoot right in the woods. Like there's like open areas. I hear gunshots right in my neighborhood.
Right.
And it's not even range. You just got woods where it's like you're allowed to shoot. You know what I'm saying? So I've never really looked into it though.
Yeah. What do you think of this is something else we've been hearing about leading up to this fight. What do you think of Terence Crawford's resume? Like, where do you rate it?
Yeah. I'm looking over it. I do. His first like 22 fights, there's nobody up there in recognition. It's kind of weird because it's kind of like what I was saying with Kell Brook, with Horn. You're going, yeah, man, that was a name, especially Kell Brook. But they're like, I don't know, where was Kell Brook? Kell Brook was at the absolute back end, right? A flash in the pan versus Pacquiao. Hank Lundy. And here's the big one, man. He beats Julio and Donga.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a huge fight. And Doggin comes in 22
Took him apart.
But not just that, but here's the thing. This dude ain't fought nobody outside of South Africa or wherever he's from.
Yeah.
After Crawford, he got knocked out or lost every fight after that. So it's kind of like, now you can say, well, Crawford, ended his mind. No, I think he fought all nobodies all the way up to 1 or 2 big fights. Got the title.
Right.
It was exposed. This dude, the dude went on and loses to Crawford, gets knocked out by Prograis, beats a dude that was 4-1. Who goes back to fight dudes 4-1?
Yeah.
And got knocked out in the second, got knocked out in the fourth, got outpointed in the eighth by people I ain't never heard of. I can't pronounce their names. Won a fight versus a guy 12-4, loses to a guy 8-1, knocks out by a guy 9-0, loses.
Yep.
First round knockout by a guy 7-0. I ain't ever heard of. So that was
Adongo ain't him. He ain't him at all.
Nah, that was his biggest win, and it's kind of like who
you think so? You think Adongo was his biggest win?
To that.
What about? See, because we got to go back to some of these guys, right? Some of these guys, we got to remember when Crawford fought him. Right. Gamboa was a killer. When Crawford fought him, Gamboa was still a killer.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people make that point.
Victor Postal.
Yeah.
Victor Postal was still a killer.
Yeah, I mean, big win. Again, Victor Postal is a guy that went on after and did nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, he was a good fighter. Too much away, right? Because we do that sometimes, right? We do that with Mayweather. We do that with Pop. Him, but who was this? So I don't want to take too much away, but Victor Postal completely went away. And Dongus completely went away. We never heard of him again. And then, Victor Postal's last 3 fights, he got knocked out.
I'm trying to think. What's the other guy? What's the other guy's name? Maybe Cuban. He might.
Yeah, no. I'm looking at this too. He fought Delorme, who was a really good fighter.
He's an Olympian. What's the Olympian?
Felix Diaz.
There you go. You go.
Yeah, I mean, that's an impressive fight. I mean, he look. Like I said, this is and Benavidez Jr. at the time he was 27-0.
Yeah.
He's only taken 1 loss since then. That was a close fight to Danny Garcia. So
that was a tough fight too for Crawford.
Yeah.
Jose Benavidez gave Crawford some problems, man.
Yeah. So I mean, he's definitely got names on his resume. But like I said, your fights that were built up as the fights, Postal, never heard from again.
Right.
You kind of want to go, that guy was a killer. He beat him, and Postal went on to beat 4 more dudes. He got another championship. Instead, it was just disappeared. I
thought Postal was in the fight. I thought he could have got that decision versus Josh Taylor. He could have.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
They could have gave it to him.
Yeah, he had the fight against Josh Taylor right after. I don't know. The scorecards are a little wide on that if you look at it, but maybe it was a closer fight than what.
I thought it was, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, therefore, who's his toughest guy he's been against? I would say is Sean Porter.
Yeah, I agree.
Porter had because Sean Porter's always been a game opponent, and Sean Porter never really had a bad loss until that.
Yeah, you don't run through Sean Porter. Nobody runs through Sean Porter.
The what?
You can't run through Sean Porter.
No. That's all what I thought. Now, the only question that ended up leaving our mind, he retires right after the fight. His dad's like, I didn't even trust his training. He didn't make excuses, but he kind of alluded his head wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Again, you don't want to take away from Crawford, but
it's a question mark. When his dad did that, it was a question mark. When his dad did that, I didn't understand that.
Yeah,
it makes Sean Porter look bad. Sean Porter, we know he gives it all every fight. Now, I'm not a big Sean Porter fan. I think he smothered his own work. He could have won a lot of fights, that he didn't win. But he did a lot of stupid shit. Even in the Crawford fight, he gets knocked down. His feet are together. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, also when they stopped, he hit the ground and he punches the floor.
Yeah.
He had plenty of energy to get up. He had
Right.
plenty to fight, and then I
Right.
couldn't stop right there. So that whole thing was kind of suspect. It's like
It was.
like he wasn't wobbling. He was like, "Dad, going, oh man, oh man." Like so, you
Yeah,
got all your faculties together. So like, but at the same time, because I'm taking away a little from his resume. At the same time, he beat every single person in front of him and basically stopped everyone up at lightweight, at welterweight. So I can't beat up his resume too much because he did what he's supposed to do when he get in there with him.
Well, that's why I like this fight, because a lot of the questions get answered, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes, and we're Americans, right? We're Americans, but sometimes we have the tendency to say, well, this guy, I don't know this guy, so
Right.
he must be down here, right? But this guy, like Danny Garcia, we might be putting him up here,
Right.
It's like Danny Garcia, what is he really? What's he done at 147? I do think, I put it like this: Danny Garcia, he looked his best in his last fight, in my opinion, against Jose Benavidez. I love the way Danny Garcia looked in that fight. I'm like, who the fuck is who? Excuse me. Who is this? Who is this guy?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Sometimes we do overrate guys, but I like the question marks on Terence Crawford's resume. I do think his resume deserves to have the question mark. It's not like he wasn't going for these fights. He couldn't get them.
Right.
For whatever reason, Bob Arum couldn't get those fights. So he has a question mark. But this fight answers a lot of those.
Yeah. Yeah, at the end of the day, he fought, and he was willing and able to. He was willing to fight every single person that was willing to fight him, and he won. So I give him props for that. We could have a little question about, looking back, how big was that person?
Yeah.
I think a couple people maybe were a little overrated.
Right.
But Spence, it seems like Spence is back. He's healthy. I think Spence's recent resume looks a little bit better. Ugas, Garcia, and Porter, last three. Mikey Garcia before that. Now, Mikey Garcia obviously was a smaller guy, but people were expecting Mikey. Mikey's a great boxer, though. He was.
Oh yeah.
Technically, speed, timing. So you were like, all right. Yeah,
he can punch. Mikey Garcia is he's the biggest puncher Errol Spence has fought.
Yeah. So you kind of figure, all right, it's gonna at least be a fight. That wasn't even a fight.
Right.
I mean, from like round one, I don't remember specifically, but pretty much way early in the fight. When you're going into a fight and you're watching it and you're going, man. And then, like, the first round's over, you're like, nah, this is over. like, you don't got a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was one of those, like, each round.
I mean, Mikey Garcia, his arms are this long. He's like, what's he going to do, man? He can't, Spencer's, he's just keeping him out with the jab.
Yeah, that was one of them. Like, I've watched Mayweather fights like that. Like, oh, man, this dude has a chance. And maybe the first couple of rounds, and then you're going,
no shot.
Nah. And then all of a sudden, it's like round 6, round 7. You're like,
it's over.
Nah. You're hoping for some knockout punch, but it's just not gonna happen. Like it's just
right.
And that was the Mikey Garcia Errol Spence fight. It was just like, oh yeah, no. It was just, is he gonna survive at that point? Is he gonna survive?
He was in survival mode. He was. I will say this though. Late in that Mikey Garcia fight, Spence started trying to go for it.
Yeah.
And he started getting countered.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mikey started countering him hard, and that's when Spence said, "No, I'm just going to keep boxing this guy."
Yeah,
he made it an easy fight.
Yeah.
But I noticed that when he tried to go after him, Mikey was like,
Yeah,
like he countered him pretty hard.
Yeah. He's a good enough fighter to be able to do that, So
yeah,
that was a big win for sure.
Did you watch the Frank Martin versus Artem? What's this guy's name? Harat Yunyan.
Like we were saying, how long ago it was since we've been in the Marines. That old man, The boxing matches be coming on late, man. Saturday sometime,
man.
It was one of them nights. I started watching it, and I was just like, man, I was exhausted from the week. I think I was in bed. I was like, yeah.
It'd be like that.
Yeah. So I won't do that for this fight, though. This is big enough for me to stay up. But I heard some people talking about that. They said
it was a good fight. What I'll say about Frank Martin is Derek James is like, that's his style. That's his brand. All those guys fight the same. You know, slight little variations. Yeah. Frank Martin is a little bit more twitchy than Errol Spence. Jamel Charlo's a little bit more twitchy than Errol Spence. Punch a little bit harder. Yeah. But it's still the same. It's the same 1-2 style. Yeah. There's not a lot of bells and whistles. Okay. You know, those guys, they just rough and they do it with pressure.
Yeah.
You know. Okay. So that's what that fight reminded me of. But that guy gave him problems, man. That guy gave him. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. But let's keep it moving. I didn't even ask you this, but are you going out to Vegas for the fight?
No, I gotta kind of, be mindful of my trips. I would have liked to too. You know, I got a couple of trips coming up this year, and I definitely thought about it. It kind of came up quick though. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes
it did, man. It did. Like last month.
Yeah. It's because it's always talked about. And you don't want to get the tickets too early the way that be. And it kind of just came up, and I already got a couple of things, so I'm like, nah, I would have loved to.
To me, they kind of messed it up. Like when you build it up a fight like this, you're supposed to build it up. You don't downplay Terence Crawford, right? And you don't downplay Errol Spence. Like those guys should have been playing it up. Like, hey, let's make the fight happen. Like, but it seems like the brass, not necessarily the fighters, but the brass over there at PBC, like Leonard Ellaby, he's saying shit like they don't want the fight. They were talking like they didn't want the fight. So it's like it makes it hard to even when they announced it last month, I'm like, we heard this before. Yeah, that was in my mind. I'm like, we heard this before. So
you know what I'm glad though? Have you been watching I don't know what they call it now. It's like the access thing they do.
Yeah.
Was that
all access?
Might have been an interview with Terrence. One of the things he said, he's like, man, he's like, people always like saying like this guy, he don't want it, he's scared of this. And he didn't just say for himself, I ain't scared to do this, ain't that. He said Earl ain't either. He goes, Earl ain't ducking me, Earl ain't scared. He goes, I ain't scared.
Right. No, it ain't.
This is beyond us. And don't get me wrong, they both got the negotiation piece that they might have stuck to. And I'm glad, Crawford said that, because some fighters would be like, oh, man, he ducking me.
He ducking, yeah.
He's like, nah, Earl ain't ducking me, I ain't ducking him. He's like, we both been doing this since we've been like 7. Like, we ain't ducking each other. We here to fight. There's all this other stuff, all this business stuff that gets in the way. Promoters get
Al Heyman.
What's this? I want this ticket price. I want this. Now, the fighters may have a little say in it, but it ain't about ducking. A lot of times negotiations get into so deep.
Yeah, these guys are killers. They ain't scared of nobody.
They ready to fight.
A fight is
they gonna fight.
It's just a fight to them.
I'm not going out there for this one, but I'll be watching it, man. That would have been a good one to go to, though.
Yeah. Like you said, Crawford he's what, 35, going on 36. Do you think he slowed down at all? Or do you see any type of his last fight was Aberdeen? Did you see anything?
I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I don't get the impression he slowed down. He's a very athletic guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you see guys go quite a bit older than that are still guys. Now, I mean, talking about twitch muscles, your twitch muscles ain't the same at 35 as they are at 25. That's just nature.
Right.
But they're both close in age. And I don't get the impression at all that I mean, he just fought Porter, and he didn't look a bit different to me than he ever did. You know what I'm saying? He's in incredible shape. He's a natural athlete. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. And it ain't like maybe one of the last couple of fights we saw Pacquiao in, and it's like he ain't got the speed when I used to first watch him on YouTube back in so fast.
Yeah, he lunged in with that hook, man.
So you knew he lost a step, but you don't see that out of Crawford. It don't look like he lost a
Nah, no.
You know,
What I will say about Crawford is he did kind of he changed his style up a little bit, right? He used to use his legs a lot more.
Yeah.
Now you see him kind of sitting in the pocket, right? He using his timing, just timing guys. You don't see him moving around as much as he used to. You know, and I got a theory on it. I'm not sure if it's legit or not, but at those lower weights, I believe he might have been a little drained. Maybe he was weight bullying a little bit. You know, once you do that, you're susceptible. You know, you're not as strong. You know, so that will force him to kind of move around more. Whereas now it's like he can just eat and be strong, and you know he don't really have to worry about getting clipped. You know? But I don't know. But I do see him sitting in the pocket a lot more than he used to.
Okay.
What you got?
Yeah, no, I you know, just back to the question. No, I don't get the impression either of them have lost much. And I think the biggest question out of either of them would have been, you know, Spence, how it did the car crash affect him. That's the absolute biggest one. I mean, that was serious. But
man, that thing was nasty, man.
But in between that time, he fought, you know, he fought some killers and stood in there. Yeah, after the crash. Is that after? No, he fought. Okay, so he fought Porter right before.
Danny Garcia.
Garcia and Ugas.
Yeah.
So, you know,
he was supposed to fight Pacquiao.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how that fight would have went, man. I don't know. I know it's an old Pacquiao, but guess what? You know who I had? Pacquiao.
Really?
Pacquiao.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Pacquiao fan. I don't think he got Pacquiao.
Too fast. I think he's even at that. Well, I don't know about now, but 3 years ago, 2 years ago, whenever that was, like, I think Pacquiao. Yeah. I think he's just too fast for him, man.
I just don't know. I don't know, man.
You'll never know, right?
I would be concerned for Pacquiao in that fight, and I think, I would have. I'd have been concerned for Pacquiao. I think Errol Spence has showed to be that good. You know, I wish could have been.
Yeah. All right. So, what about Errol Spence? His last fight was 15 months ago against Ugas. How do you, if you can remember back to that fight, how do you think he looked in that last fight?
Nah, man, I thought he looked good. I thought he looked really good. And Ugas, you know, a lot of people was thinking he was going to win. It was like, Cuban style, they're top boxers. And I mean, he stops him, right? He stopped him because he beat his face up so bad.
I don't understand what Ugas was doing. I don't. But I've never, like, all he did was he just stood there in front of the guy. It's like,
I mean, I think he was looking for sometimes somebody just too good for you. You know what I'm saying? They figured it was going to match his style, and then he got in there, and he's like, he didn't know what he could do, try to land.
I mean, Ugas hit him with a shot. He had Errol Spence wrapped up in the fucking ropes. Well, you know, he was tied up in the ropes like.
Well, is that where the mouthpiece came out, though?
Huh? Yeah. He's looking for his mouthpiece like Mike Tyson. I'm like,
yeah. Well, you heard him talk about that, though. He said he wasn't really hurt. He was worried about, like, he thought his teeth came out with his mouthpiece, and he's like,
he thought his teeth was still.
But he didn't look that hurt. If you think about it, like, I really think he was, because he's looking down. Boom, caught again, and then he was like, oh, no, like, let's go then.
Right.
So he got a good chin. You know, he also.
Oh, yeah.
I think, and if we're going to start getting into the predictions, is that next, or we got to do something before that?
Yeah, we leading up to it. We leading up to it.
All right.
We leading up to it.
Yeah, because we starting to get there. I won't jump.
Yeah, we getting there.
But
So now that you mentioned that, let's do a little speed round, right? Mm-hmm. Let's do a little speed round. Okay. I'm gonna name some categories, right? I'm gonna just name some categories, and you tell me who has the edge in that particular category. Okay. All right. So, the first thing is foot speed.
I'm gonna give you all evens out every now.
Don't do that, man.
Foot speed. You know what, man? I got to be honest. I'm not really sure. That's not something I pay close enough attention to. I would probably think just because of Crawford's athletic ability. If someone had an edge, it'd probably Crawford.
Yeah, I had Crawford on foot speed as well. All right, punching power.
I'm gonna say Spence.
Errol Spence. I got Terence Crawford. I mean, it's hard to argue against a guy with 10 straight knockouts, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things. I think, and I don't know if you can separate power. There's kind of just sharp popping power.
Yeah, it's different types. Yeah,
thudding power. Like someone's just heavier.
Yeah.
You know, I've you know,
those thudding shots, right?
Hard. There's different types. I've been hit with a dude by a dude that it's like pop. It's like oh, like
it's like the difference between George Foreman and Mike Tyson.
Yeah, like just some people got such a pop and a snap, and I think Crawford got a lot of that. I think Earl probably has that too, but he might got a little more thud behind it.
Yeah. Errol Spence is definitely he throws more thudding shots. Definitely.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Spence on that overall, but yeah, it's very close. It's debatable, I'm sure.
All right. What about hand speed?
Hand speed?
Yeah.
Again, man, it's so close. I know most people are saying Crawford's a little bit faster. I can't tell by the naked eye who's faster. I'll give Crawford a very slight edge, but I'm not 100% sure on it.
Okay. Yeah, I also gave it to Crawford on that. Chin.
Man, I'm gonna say Spence.
Yeah, me too. I said Spence as well on that. I thought Mean Machine knocked Crawford down in that fight. That was a knockdown, right? You got hit with a right hand and you went down. Like, now he did go on the front foot and proceed to beat the hell out of Mean Machine after that. But a knockdown is a knockdown. I don't think it's a big deal. Fighters get dropped. I gotta go with Chin. I gotta give it to Spence. I've never seen him come close to going down.
Right.
Yeah. Fast twitch muscles.
Probably Crawford.
Yeah, that's what I had too. IQ.
I mean, man, dang, that's tough, man. I mean, I think Crawford has a great fight IQ. I haven't necessarily looked at Spence in that way of having the best fight. I think he does have a really good fight IQ. I don't mean it like that.
Yeah.
But Crawford stands out as fight IQ.
You know what? I have Crawford, but I also put an asterisk beside it because sometimes Crawford could get into this macho man type of shit, you know, where it's like with Mean Machine.
Yeah.
Right? Standing in front of guys trying to trade, and sometimes he can get into that. Like, I get that he's very smart in the ring. He makes adjustments, all that. But when you let your ego get in the way, that to me, that's IQ, right? That's to me that. But I still gave him the edge because I saw Spence look for his mouthpiece while the fight was still going.
Right. That was a really bad. No, that's one of those things that you that can end the fight right there.
You know, like that. That's you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Durability.
I think Spence.
Yeah, I had Spence as well. For that. Counterpunching.
I think Spence.
Really?
Yeah. It's hard to say. I don't know, man. Now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, he caught Porter with a perfect punch.
Oh yeah.
I look at Spence a little bit more of a boxer in a sense, as far as staying fundamentally sound. Where Crawford also will turn on a killer mode. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's kind of, I mean, he knows the right time to do it. That's what's like.
Right.
Spence always calculated. I feel like that's why he stays calculated.
That's fair. That is definitely fair. I gave it to Crawford just because of those moments. It's like any moment where, just like in this fight, if Spence gets on the front foot and goes front foot heavy and try to stop Crawford, it might be a very, very short fight. You know, it's like you're feeding into this guy's hands. Like,
he's got to fight smart the whole time. Yeah, he's got to fight.
you got to be switched on because he has all the punches, like the uppercut, the hooks, like switch hitting.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
What about punch placement accuracy?
Crawford. Crawford's amazing at being able to just hit an absolute perfect spot.
Yeah. Here's an underrated little category: trainer, corner.
Probably Spence.
Yep, that's what I had too.
Yeah.
Derek James is
yeah.
He's a great trainer. You know, not that I think Bomac isn't. It's just that I think he serves a different role for Crawford than Derek James does for Spence.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, Crawford's got more of a hometown kind of.
Yeah.
That's the guy from his hometown, which he's plenty good, obviously. But
right.
Maybe he's plenty good because he's got a once in a lifetime talent.
Right.
Derek James is going to continue to probably bring people up through that system, right?
Yeah, I gave that to Derek James. It factor. If you need me to explain that, I will. But what you got?
At this point, that's Crawford.
Really? I had Errol Spence with it.
Really? For the
I did. Yeah, I did. I mean, I think. All right. I mean, everything he says is like some catchphrase, right? Big fish, and, and put him in the dirt, and, all that razzle dazzle. Like he has more, for whatever reason, he has more fans. Now he only has about 4,000 more fans.
Okay.
So
maybe I'm misinterpreting the way you're describing.
Yeah. So what do you mean? What are you talking about?
So I'm talking about. I'm trying to think of it. The way almost they describe it in baseball. Like there's certain people that just, or in any sport, they just got it. Like they have that. And
Derek Jeter.
Like Derek Jeter, Tom Brady, Mike. Like they just got this thing. Crawford kind of got that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'll give him that.
Spence got it too, but I don't know if he has it to the level of Crawford has it at this point. That's kind of like Crawford just like I'm kind of rooting for Spence or something I just like about. I like both, but I don't dislike either guy. Do I find dislikable? But I got a little more rooting for Spence in this. But at the same time, I could see why Crawford's the favorite. There's something about him that just he just has this kind of attitude of he just ain't gonna lose. Like he just seems they're both crazy confident.
Oh yeah.
Slightly more confident. Crawford seems just a little more confident. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. All right, so that last category. Dog.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I was getting at with this too. It seems like Crawford got a little more that, there's been a clip going around of when they were in the corner for the Porter fight and it's round.
I was thinking about that, man. I was gonna say that, man.
He was like, I'm down. He's like, I'm down. He's like,
right. I was gonna say that.
Oh, I'm down. He's like, boom, boom.
Was that the most savage thing ever? That was savage, bro.
Yeah. And like right away too. It wasn't like
I'm losing? I'm losing. Bet.
He's like, Bet. He's like, you think so?
How? He's like, how?
Yeah. Especially with Porter, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't some dude like Porter. Porter really don't get stopped.
No, never.
So for him to do
that's why I can't take away from Porter. That's why I can't take away from his performance. It's like Porter was doing well in that fight.
Yeah, no, he was. He might even been that fight at that point.
It's just the guy flipped the switch and got him out of there. I don't know how you explain that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean,
all right, so my last question in this in this segment here is how do you think this fight plays out?
Yeah.
What does it look like? What happens?
So
look into your crystal ball.
Yeah, if it goes the way that for Spence to win, I'll put that. For Spence to win, what I think happens is
No. Whoa. Time out. Not for Spence to win.
Okay, just
you trying to frame it.
Yeah,
I just want you to tell me what happened.
Yeah. So in my head, I'm looking for Spence to do this. I'll just say it like this: we're gonna have, I think we'll have fireworks fairly early. You know, they're both getting after it. There's so many ifs though, and that's, you know, does one get sloppy? So one thing you didn't ask about was defense. I think
Right.
got the edge on defense. I think there have been a couple fights in the past where Crawford gets touched.
Yeah.
Guy even was losing some rounds, or that, you know, and sometimes the scorecards don't always indicate it. The dude, this dude right here, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Indigas Kalabaka, I don't know what the hell his name is.
Mean Machine.
Yeah, okay, yeah. He was a guy that didn't back down for Crawford. Now they had the scorecard kind of wide, but I remember watching it like, oh, this dude's in the fight.
Yeah.
Like this dude's in the fight.
Yeah.
And he was a smaller dude. I think overall, I don't see him as being a Spence type of dude. I don't see him as being a
Mean Machine is a big dude. No, Mean Machine is huge.
Okay, yeah, you're right. He's been a welterweight his whole life. He's kind of looking at things. Okay. I didn't get that impression. He about the same size as Spence, so he's 5'9", Spence 5'9". So yeah, they in that kind of category.
Yeah.
But he was really giving him a fight. You know, he gave him a fight. And I don't think that dude's on Spence level. And he caught him. I think the one thing is Crawford does get caught. Now he's a killer, so he'll give it back real quick.
Right.
Can Errol Spence, being a longer, strong guy, walk into something?
Right.
If he stays contained in a way like Anthony Joshua fought Ruiz the second time, I'm not going to be boring, but I'm going to
box.
I think Errol Spence goes out there. He's going to take some of the early rounds like some people have done against Crawford. So it's going to be on Crawford to come back on that second half and go for that knockout. I think Errol is smart enough where he can now. Can Errol get caught late and get knocked out? Yeah, he can. Even as good as his chin is. So there's so many ifs. So I see it playing out as a solid fight. But Errol can be the better boxer, stay contained, stick to his game plan, because he is going to take some rounds. And down to his chin. If Errol doesn't get knocked out, I think he's going to win enough rounds to have a draw. Oh, you know, the scorecard's only going. I shouldn't say that. You can't
definitely be a draw
in some sort of split decision, majority decision, draw. I think it'll be close enough where you see something like that. But I'm going Earl by points.
Okay.
Playing out by him outboxing him, not allowing Crawford to be the killer. You know, do what Mayweather does. Oh, he's a killer.
Right.
We're gonna play. We're gonna play. Oh shoot! It's the 10th round. Right.
Okay. And I think that's fair. One thing that I think goes unnoticed, Errol is definitely the bigger guy, but he don't have the longer reach.
No.
Right? So if he tries to just jab his way, like that might not go the way he thinks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crawford has the longer reach, even though he's a shorter guy. Same thing with Mayweather. That's like that Mayweather advantage. He was small, but his arms were freakishly long. You know, that's why he could do all that shit.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna get. I don't think we're gonna get 12 rounds of boxing.
Really?
I don't. I think Errol Spence has been too inactive, right? Now I'm saying all this, but if Errol comes in there and throws up a masterpiece, he'll win the fight.
Yeah.
If he fights the best fight that he's fought, which is possible, Buster Douglas did it against Tyson. Like I'm not saying that he's that much of an underdog at all.
Right.
You know, that proves my point though. He's not nearly the underdog that Buster Douglas was. Mm-hmm. So if he can put a masterpiece together against, because that's what it's going to take. Like he's been out of the ring. He's got those injuries. You know, he's He's constantly reminding us that he struggled making the weight. And he's got to move up. All these things, like he's got a lot working against him in this fight, going against an absolute killer.
Yeah.
Can Errol Spence win? Yeah, he can. I don't think so. I think I see him getting caught with a shot like Kell Brook, honestly. Like it's not like he's gonna get hit and go to sleep. He's gonna get hit and hurt, right? And I don't think he's fought like when I just keep going back to Mikey Garcia. That's the hardest puncher Errol Spence has fought. This ain't Mikey Garcia. This is like he can punch harder than Mikey Garcia, and he moves. You know, like I don't know. I just don't see it going the distance. I got this fight going. It's gonna sound crazy. 6 rounds tops.
I think rounds. Well, that's the crazy thing. I was going to say, I think we'll know early if he has that real advantage, going to do it, but that might not be because the way Crawford stops people, you don't know early. Sometimes the other guy's going to fight all the way till he ain't, right? Yeah. One of those dudes. He ain't one of them dudes that builds up to it all the time. He just kind of stops.
Right.
Yeah, well, I think Earl's chin will get tested early, and I actually hope it does. I hope he gets tested early so he goes, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't cruise through 5 rounds, not really tested. And start
it's like a real fight. Like it don't really start like, you got me? Oh, now you switched on.
Now you better know. I think he's prepared for that though. I think, like you said, he's got the good trainer inside. Be like, yo, man, he got to get this all the way through his head. You with a killer now.
Yeah.
Like this is you don't take no time out. There's no time out. There's in this sport. You can't take your eye off the prize for a second, right? You can't be for 1 second relaxed. That's when, and that's the difference between someone.
Exactly.
Everything, all the time, 12 rounds, you got to be right on. Not making it. Like you said, you have to fight just about a perfect fight. Then again, is his chin good enough to not fight a perfect fight? Is it good enough where you're going to get a couple? Be able to cover.
Yep.
Same question for Crawford, though, right? What's going to happen if Earl really lands a good one on him and gets his eyes a little blurry?
Yep.
On him? You know what I'm saying?
It could go either way. It really here's the thing. Just to kind of divert a little bit.
Nah, you changed your prediction. You go Errol Spence knockout round 9. You changing your prediction. You're gonna
no.
Taking Earl in the 9th round knockout.
No, I got Bud. Look, this fight ain't going past. It's not going past 8 rounds.
Okay.
I got it. I really think Bud stops him inside of 6.
That'd be crazy.
Inside of 6 rounds. I just like. All right, here's why. The way they throw punches, Errol Spence, his punches are slow, right? It's not the worst thing in the world until you fight a guy like Crawford, right? He likes to throw in between your shots. So if you punch him slow like that, he will throw 2 or 3 shots in between your shots. Like it's hard to explain.
No, I know you're saying.
Same thing to Jose Benavidez.
Yeah.
Like he'll start timing you. His main thing is timing. Like Bud he's fast, but he ain't got the fastest hands. Like there's people that got faster hands. His thing though is the timing. It's the timing and like being able to turn. Like he was turning Porter. Nobody turns Porter. Right? Porter is usually the one doing the turning.
Right.
But he was able to turn him and move him wherever he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got they over here roasting me in the chat, man. I ain't switched I didn't switch my pick. I got Bud inside of 6, okay? Yeah. But look, Brad, you already know, man. I appreciate you coming on here and I guess we'll let you off the hot seat for now, right? Like I said earlier, this is the first live stream on the channel, so hopefully you come back, we got
this again, man.
Definitely.
And You know, maybe after the fight, do like a 30-minute clip, something like that. See how that
Yeah,
goes, or whenever. For sure, man. But yeah, we definitely got in some good conversation. Got deep on it. You know, threw some perspectives up against the wall. But one way or another, we're gonna see a legendary fight.
absolutely. And look, before I let you go, I'll definitely be in touch between
Yep.
now and before the fight because I
Yep.
want to know how much money you want to lose to me again.
All right. We'll talk about it. Talk about it.
Right?
All right.
We'll put something together, man.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I'll holler at you, bro.
Peace.
Peace. All right. So that was Bradio, the Italian stallion. Drop some hand claps in the chat for me. Drop some hand claps in the chat. Right? First live stream on the channel. It was fun. What I want to do now is turn it to the chat, right? What do you guys think? What do you guys want to talk about? What any questions? Any what you got? What you got? And I'll just be reading the comments here. Hopefully y'all don't roast me too bad. What's this? Oh, during the Tank fight. Gotcha. Tank Garcia fight. Yeah. No, that was one that that was just one that I got wrong, honestly. I'm going to just go ahead and say that. I picked Ryan Garcia foolishly, right? Foolishly. I allowed my disdain for Tank Davis to cloud my judgment. So that's what happened in that fight. And let's be honest, Tank Davis, he ain't fought nobody, right? Ryan Garcia is the toughest. Tank Davis said Ryan Garcia is the toughest guy he fought. Tank Davis said that. Now, what does that mean? Right? So that's all. That's what I was going off of. Like when Tank Davis says that Ryan Garcia is the toughest guy that he fought, I gotta go ahead and believe him. Right? I gotta go ahead and believe him. He didn't say Isaac Cruz was the toughest fight. He said Ryan Garcia. You know? So hey. What we got? I appreciate you guys sticking around. If we don't have any questions, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. Or if you don't, it don't really have to be a question. We can just, hey, whatever you got, you know. And if you want to support the channel, go ahead and go to Cash App, type in $Lemek. That's LEMEKH, $LEMEKH on Cash App. All right, no big deal. No big deal. What do you guys think about Tyson Fury? For me, I'm ready. It's a couple guys that I'm ready to kind of exit stage left. Tyson Fury is one of them, right? He's basically turned something that people were feeling good about him coming back, and you know his BS mental health story. I really don't buy it now, right? So he turned that all that feel good into this. Like now, people just really are tired, right? You got the undisputed fight with Usyk right there in his face, and he goes and fights Ngannou. You know, a guy who never boxed before. Like, if you buy that fight, you're an idiot. But that's just my opinion, right? Just my opinion. The other guy, because I said it was two, is Canelo. Right? But Canelo, I think he's gonna have to get escorted out of the sport. You know, you're gonna have to. I think as far as Tyson Fury, I don't think he'll be around like too much longer. he actually has a rematch clause versus Ngannou. I think this is his swan song. He wants to get the bag and hit the bricks. Right? That's what I see for Fury. I don't see him coming back from Ngannou and facing any killers. Right? As for Canelo, Canelo's gonna be around. You're just gonna have to beat the fight out of him, you know. But that happens in boxing. One thing about Canelo is he's up over 60 fights now. So yeah, boxers have an expiration date. You know, boxers definitely have an expiration date. So I don't expect him to be around too much longer. All right, so I guess that's about it for tonight. Like I said, this is just the first live stream. We'll be doing this from time to time. If you haven't done it already, go ahead and hit the like button. Hit the like button, right? Go ahead and line that like button up and jab it one time, right? Just one time. It's free. And we're gonna go ahead and shut this down. If you're watching it on replay, enjoy. But that's all I got for today. Again, if you like the video, go ahead and bang off on that like button one time. Peace.